I would love to hear from our one of another eminent panelist, Madam Archana, if you can throw some light there.
Thank you so much, Mr. Seth, for moderating this very important talk. And thanks to ASSOCHAM for having me once again. So I totally echo the views expressed by Professor Basu Singh and of course Mr. Sinha. Technology is indeed very important. But as you pointed out, Mr. Seth, communication is something which is very important, and effective communication that forms the tool that can help you achieve the experience that we want to leave with the person we are in communication with, we are in conversation with.
Hmm.
Now, how do we, achieve that? Because the point is, if I'm not heard, if I'm not seen the right way, then there is no point of using the technology. Technology is your driver, but how you use it effectively so that the people around you hear you, listen to you, you're able to create an impact is what is important. That means it's a marriage between your thoughts and technology that takes you across the table. Now, how do we do that? So I will very quickly give few pointers which is important for people today to understand and incorporate in the way they are with people. Now, the first and foremost thing is very important is integrated communication. Point number one, integrated communication. What does that mean? It's very important, the way our communication flows. Like, for example, this particular platform, ASSOCHAM, like, there was a talk scheduled. There were so many people involved. There was a moderator, there was an organizer, there were panelists. Everybody in the team is well aware of what time the program is starting, who's going to be moderating it, what is the topic. So there is a flow of communication. This is one thing which children, students today need to understand, because as they go and grow into good professionals, the info communication has to flow from one channel to the other. Why? So that everybody in the system knows what is happening. They are aware of what has to be done. The what, the why, the where, the who, everything is clear. We should understand the 5 W's and the H. It's very important. Point number two, I feel it's very important for children, for students, for people who will be pursuing their careers going forward and using the technology, to stay away from ambiguity. So point number two, stay away from ambiguity. You have to be very focused. You have to be very clear with what you speak. What I'm talking should be heard, should be understood by the person on the other side. If it is not happening, you are not heard. People don't know what you're saying. You are simply mincing words. You have to come to the level where people understand you, because we are depending on technology. Technology is our driver that has helped us not stop communication. It has helped us not stop businesses or work. But if we are not clear in our thoughts, we are not sure what we have to speak, people will not understand. And if people do not understand you, then obviously there is going to be no exchange of thoughts, which means no
Mhm.
progress, no interaction, no work. It doesn't make any sense.
Correct.
Another very important point, Mr. Seth, I feel it's very important to know your audience. Who am I going to be talking to? Now, how does one develop this? You have to be very sure what is this talk. For example, this particular meeting that we are doing today, I need to understand who's going to be listening to this conversation that we are having with such esteemed panelists. You know, if I don't
Yeah.
know who's my audience, if I'm talking about London, if I'm talking about Tokyo and people don't understand it, there is no point. It should hit the bull's eye. The people who are listening to this, it should make sense to them. They should understand, yes, we want to understand what is integrated communication. We need to understand what is focus. We need to understand how we can leverage technology. So these things are very important. Also, children that really miss out today is body language. Trust me, Mr. Sage, today people feel that they are on cameras. Body language is still an important part. Even
Mhm.
if I'm talking to you through camera, it's important for children to understand how body language plays an important role. You need to look into the eye of your camera. You need to still move your hands to express what you're saying. You still need to use voice modulation. You still need to ensure that your at least three-fourths of your portion is being seen by the person on the other side of the camera, because that builds interest, that builds trust. If I only see your headshot, people will not trust me. They can't see the rest of me. So that language is really very, very important today. Also, I would like to stress on how important it is for children to understand that communication is a two-way responsibility. I cannot make it a one-way process. It has to be a dialogue. Like yourself, I mean, like, you're doing a beautiful job here. You're involving all the panelists, and the way you're taking forward the entire conversation, it is so beautiful. So this is the key of communication. It has to be an active participation of everybody, and that depends on you, how you do it. Involve your people. If I don't, it doesn't make sense. It's just like I come, speak, and go. So it doesn't really make sense.
You very rightly pointed the communication.